Hey guys, I'm Joe and I'm here to do my first Q&A. I'm rocking the sleeveless American flag shirt right here. That was random. Thank you guys for sending me all your questions. I'm really looking forward to answering them, so let's give it a go, shall we? First set of questions comes from 22 Tiger Dude. How you doing, Tiger Dude? What up, Joe? Here's some questions that I hope you enjoy answering. What made you want to start your own YouTube channel? I started in 2009, just really doing some amateur music videos and so on. I didn't really have a plan. I just wanted to do something creative on the side, and mostly because I was bored. I started doing music videos like for Spider-Man and some Rolling Stones music videos. Like my most popular video right now is Street Fighting Man, where I put a bunch of pictures together from the past, from protests and the war, put them all together in a slideshow with the song Street Fighting Man underneath it. And it's probably my most viewed video out of all the videos I have. And I've had to take a couple of videos down because of copyrights. Unfortunately, that's YouTube. It's gotten really crazy recently. And in 2012, when The Dark Knight Rises came out, for some reason I was looking up reviews for it. I looked up Richard Roeper's review, and then I came across Chris Stuckman's review, and then Jeremy Johns, and the Schmoes, and the domino effect eventually started. So it was right then and there that I decided, you know what, maybe I want to do movie reviews, not just music video stuff, because that's, I mean, after a while I felt like it could get kind of repetitive, I guess. So it wasn't until about a year later, once I completed my military training, that I felt like I was able to do it and feel a little bit more confident in where I was going. And I started off a bit shaky. If you've seen some of my early reviews, you can tell that I'm really trying to copy off of Chris Stuckman and whatever. But I feel like I've gotten to a point where I feel a little bit more comfortable with myself, and I have a lot of fun doing this, and I've met a lot of really cool people over the last couple of years, and my appreciation of movies just grew even deeper. I mean, I've loved movies all my life, but thanks to you guys and all the other guys that I've watched, I mean, if you happen to be watching this video, you've made me appreciate movies a lot more than I ever have. I'm looking forward to seeing what else the future has to offer. If your movie collection was burning on fire and you could only save 5 movies, what would those 5 movies be? Well, obviously these two right here. I can't let those die. First, Back to the Future, Dark Knight, Indiana Jones 3, Last Crusade. Those are my 5. Who is your celebrity crush? Yeah. I have a few others, don't you worry. Emma Watson, Scarlett Johansson, Anne Hathaway, Natalie Portman. Salma Hayek is another one that I really like. Not just because she's beautiful, but I also think she's a really good actress too. But my main one, Jennifer Lawrence. I love her. I know a lot of people don't like her anymore because she's so overhyped, but you know what? I really don't care. Okay, getting too creepy. Let's move on to the next question. Who's your favorite musical band slash artist? The Rolling Stones. They're the greatest rock and roll band in the world. They got some of the best rock music I think it's ever been done. At least that's what I would say. I also like the Beatles, Queen, Bon Jovi's a really good band. I saw them twice in concert, and the Stones I've seen twice in concert also. 10 years ago when I was 15. I also like some Bob Dylan. I like Avril Lavigne's earlier stuff, not so much her new stuff. I mean, here and there she puts out some good songs, but mostly her earlier stuff. Carrie Underwood I really like, and Johnny Cash is pretty good too. But my all-time favorite is the Rolling Stones. What was your favorite cartoon growing up? Animaniacs. That's probably my favorite. I like Pinky and the Brain and Hey Arnold. They were pretty cool to watch, but Animaniacs was a lot of fun. That's probably my main one. What is the best movie of all time for you? These two. These two are perfect for me. They are my favorite movies of all time. I am a big Spider-Man fan, for those of you who don't know. I remember watching the first movie in 2002 with my dad and in the theater, and I was just blown away by it. I had no idea what I was in for. And I wasn't a big Spider-Man fan before that point. I wasn't really into superheroes either, but this movie and the Dark Knight trilogy later on down the line, they were in a way kind of like Star Wars for me, where I was just taken to another place, and yeah, it's really hard to explain. I mean, I really like the cast, especially Tobey Maguire. I know a lot of people hate him now because of Spider-Man 3, but there's no need to go into that. Spider-Man 2, I would say, one of the best superhero movies that's ever made. Might be even my favorite superhero movie ever made. So yeah, those are the best movies of all time for me. That's just my personal opinion. People will scream at me and tell me how much of an idiot I am for liking these two movies, but you know what? I really don't care. What is the worst movie of all time for you? Master of Disguise was a piece of shit. I hated that thing. I'm sorry for the language. Pain and Gain, I really didn't like. That I thought was really kind of weird and offensive. I wouldn't say it's the worst, but that's just one that popped into my head. Grown Ups was stupid as hell. Paul Blart, don't even get me started on Kevin James's movies. He's a funny guy, but he just keeps doing the same schlock again and again, and it's so old. I don't really have a worst of all time, personally. What is the worst film from one of your favorite directors? J. Edgar by Clint Eastwood. Holy hell, that movie was boring as shit. I like Leonardo DiCaprio and Naomi Watts and Judi Dench and Clint Eastwood. They're all cool, but that movie was just boring, 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 boring. Moving on. Who is your favorite director? That's a tough one. I'm just going to name some off the top of my head that I really like, and one of my all-time favorites are some that I really respect. Steven Spielberg. It's Steven Spielberg. He's awesome. Scorsese, Nolan, J.J. Abrams I'm a big fan of. Mostly his movies. I haven't seen all of his TV works. I mean, I know some people say he's a copycat, and they, to a degree, they are correct. But you know what? Say what you want about his movies, but they're never chores to sit through. And I may not be a huge Star Trek fan, but I really liked his 2 Star Trek movies, and I cannot wait for Star Wars 7. That's going to be awesome. Sam Raimi, of course, you know, from the first 2 Spider-Man movies. I've never seen the Evil Dead movies because I'm not really into the horror genre that much. But he's a very talented filmmaker, and I gotta give credit where it's due because he made some of the best superhero movies ever made. And I also really liked Oz the Great and Powerful, personally. It wasn't the best movie ever made, but I personally really enjoyed it. And he made my late childhood, early teen years pretty awesome. Robert Zemeckis, I think, is really good. Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Castaway, Polar Express, which I think is kind of underrated. David O. Russell, American Hustle. I liked American Hustle. Stop yelling. Silver Linings Playbook, and The Fighter. Excellent movies. David Fincher and Bryan Singer, those are 2 that I've come to really admire as filmmakers, especially with movies like Gone Girl, Seven, Fight Club, and Social Network with David Fincher. Bryan Singer, I like his first 2 X-Men movies, and Days of Future Past I thought was just brilliant. One of the best superhero movies that I've ever seen, personally, and it's only a year old. Hey, it's done something right. Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards. Can't wait for Hateful Eight either. That's gonna be pretty sweet. Rian Johnson, who did Looper, and David Ayer, who did Fury and End of Watch. I've come to really respect him quite a bit as a filmmaker, and can't wait to see what he does with Suicide Squad, especially with Jared Leto as the Joker. Oh, and Matthew Vaughn, who did Kingsman and X-Men First Class. I really like him too. Can't wait to see what he does next. And just a little side note here, I only know of 2 female directors, Catherine Bigelow and Sofia Coppola. Hurt Locker was really good, but I haven't seen a lot of other of Bigelow's stuff. I wish female filmmakers would get just as much recognition as the guys do. Are you a fan of the rock band AC/DC? Sort of. Not really. I understand why people like their music, and they have a big following, and I do respect them as a rock band. I like Highway to Hell and Back in Black, but I don't really care for much else that they do. I mean, if you like it, that's cool, and I don't hate them. I think they're pretty good, but it's not really my kind of music. What is your favorite restaurant to eat at? Really all depends. There's a pizza place in my area called Two Cousins Pizza. Has some of the best Sicilian bread New York style pizza you'll ever eat. Oh god, you think you died and went to heaven. I like Burger King as much as the next guy, but I don't like to eat it all the time. And there was a restaurant called Joe's Famous Kitchen, which made some awesome burgers, but unfortunately they had to close down because of a health inspection. Oh god, health inspections. Make you or break you. Ruby Tuesday I really like, and Five Guys once in a great while. But it really depends on what mood I'm in. What is your worst theater going experience? About a year ago when I saw Draft Day, there was this group of, excuse the word, douchebags that were running up and down the stairs during the previews, making all this ruckus, laughing and giggling like little kids, like juvenile kids. And there were some people around us, and even my sister and my mom, they just went over, shut up! And I was about ready to scream at them, you assholes make me sick. Yeah, that's literally what I wanted to say, and storm out of the theater because I couldn't take it. But luckily, by the second to last preview, they relaxed. So, thank God for that. The next set of questions comes from I Am Superman Batman 1993. Hey Joe, this is Callum Moore, and here my questions would include, what is your name? Joe. What is your quest? Try to take over the world. What is your favorite color? Red, white, blue, and black. Black for Darth Vader and Batman. Red, white, and blue for the American flag, the patriotic colors. And because red and blue and white are Spider-Man's colors, and they're also red, white, and blue for Captain America. So, there you have it. Sorry, I couldn't resist the Monty Python joke. Oh, okay, I knew you were kidding around. It's okay. I was just playing along with you. First question, what are some of the most overrated as well as underrated films you've ever seen? Overrated? But some that come to my mind, Drive, I thought was kind of It's pretty intense once the action starts happening, but I just thought it was really kind of overhyped and just not really that interesting. I mean, if people like it, I completely see why, but I just couldn't get into it. The Matrix is another one that comes to my mind. Again, I understand why it has its fans. It has some pretty cool action sequences. Keanu Reeves is really good with the stunt work, and the story isn't too bad, but not something that I would watch again and again, personally. I didn't grow up watching it, so it's probably why. Underrated movies? Well, it's too easy to go with these two because they get too much hate these days. But, you know, I've talked about it before. Lost World, Jurassic Park 2. I don't think that really gets as much credit as I think it gets. Watch Chris Stuckman's review of it. He explains it pretty well. Dark Knight Rises, that's one. To tell you the truth, I'm really sick of all the hate it's gotten, to be honest. I am so sick of it. Is it as good as Dark Knight? Of course not. Does that mean it's a bad movie? No, it does not. And people can point out non-existent plot holes, like, how did he get back into Gotham City? I don't care. I don't care how he got back. That's not important. Sorry, I just went off on a tangent right there, but Dark Knight Rises is another one that I think is very underrated. Return of the Jedi is a bit underappreciated too, mostly because of the Ewoks. I don't care about the Ewoks. I mean, I don't hate them. I don't mind them. But does that mean that the movie's a bad movie? Where the hell does that mindset come from? I don't get that. But Return of the Jedi should get a little more credit, especially with the final confrontation between Darth Vader and Luke, which contains my favorite scene in the entire movie when Vader saves Luke. Oh, God, that scene's beautiful. Back to the Future 3 deserves more credit. I don't really understand why people don't like it. I do like the second one, but I don't really see why people absolutely adore it. It's not that great to me. It's still good, but I wouldn't say it's great either. I really love the third one. It's not as good as the first one, but I don't really understand why people don't like it that much. Who are your favorite actors and actresses? Mine are Liam Neeson and Eva Green, of course. Liam Neeson. That's not a bad choice. Favorite actors? Tom Hanks, Harrison Ford, Tobey Maguire, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, Mark Hamill. He deserves a little more recognition. His Joker voice is absolutely brilliant, and he's really good as Luke Skywalker too. He should get a little more credit for playing Luke Skywalker. He doesn't really seem to get a lot of attention compared to Han Solo and Leia. Robert Downey Jr., what a guy. Ben Affleck I also really like too. And oh yeah, he's another one of my favorite directors too. Why did I forget that? And I think he's a really good actor too. I mean, yeah, some of his movies aren't the best. I haven't really seen them, but they looked absolutely terrible. He was really great in Gone Girl. I will always have a spot in my heart for Christian Bale's Batman, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Ben Affleck can pull it off. And I really like Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. I mean, and he also was really great in Casualties of War. If you haven't seen that, go watch that. It's not the best war movie ever made, but it's really intense and really hits you hard emotionally. I mean, it's very different from the typical smart aleck youngsters that he usually played back then. And Jake Gyllenhaal's another one that I've come to respect also. Some of his movies are a little too off-kilter for me to watch. I have not seen Donnie Darko or Enemy. Not that I hate Jake Gyllenhaal, I just never really get into those movies, but I've seen him in Nightcrawler, End of Watch, and Prisoners, and I'm going to see him in Southpaw next month for sure. He's a force to be reckoned with, I will say, and he deserves a little more credit. Actresses, Jennifer Lawrence, Scarlett Johansson, Meryl Streep is really great too. She's arguably the greatest actress on the planet. Anne Hathaway, Cate Blanchett's really good too. I like Kirsten Dunst. I know a lot of people hate her, but I don't personally. I think she made a good Mary Jane. She wasn't a perfect Mary Jane, but I think she was really good. And I've seen a couple other stuff that she's done, so I know what she's capable of. Zoe Saldana, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, she's great too. She deserves more credit. I mean, if you've seen The Help, watch her acting in The Help. She's great in that. Those are just some of the ones that I can name off the top of my head. I'm sure I've missed a few, but those are the ones that I really like. If you had a chance to do a crossover review with any reviewers, who would it be and why? Well, I've actually done 2 crossover reviews with 22 Tiger Dude, whose questions I answered earlier. We talked about Ghostbusters and Jaws, part of his Horror Movie Month session in October 2014 last year, and I had a lot of fun doing that. I'd love to do a crossover review with him again sometime, whether it's a horror movie or comedy or drama, you name it. I mean, if you're watching this, Tiger Dude, if you got any other ideas, just feel free to message me. Others that I'd like to do with, Sam's channel is one that I'd like to do some kind of a collaboration with. He did a collab with Bandit Incorporated about reboots and remakes. That's a great video, by the way. Maybe like to do a podcast or a live hangout where we talk about Spider-Man or Star Wars or Batman, movies in general, whatever. I'd like to do one with him sometime. That movie nerd, I think he's really great with what he does. I don't always agree with him, like with Dark Knight Rises. I don't agree with him on Dark Knight Rises, but you know what? Whatever. I mean, opinions are opinions. But that movie nerd, if you're watching this, don't take this as me trying to get attention from you. But if you're ever up for doing a collab review of some kind, I'm always available when I'm not working or when I'm not doing military duty. And of course, I'd love to do a review with Chris Stuckman at some point, but that probably won't ever happen. Same thing with Schmoes. I'd like to guest star on their podcast, but as I said with Chris, probably not going to happen. But a reason why I want to guest star with one of those guys is because they're really honest about how they feel about certain movies and TV shows, and they know what they're talking about, so that's really important. I don't claim to be Mr. Know-It-All Movie King. I have not seen every single movie on this planet, but that's one of the key things. They know what they're talking about, so that's why. Next question. Hello, Greedo. First of all, let me just say, hello, Greedo. I'm just flattered and stunned that you actually asked me a question. I literally can't believe it. I've been watching you for like 3 years now. Thank you for taking the time to ask me a question. I can't believe it. And how did you even know to find this video? The video that I posted. I don't know. Did you watch my shout out or what? I don't know. But thank you so much for putting out your content. It's really funny, and I may not entirely agree with you on some things about the prequels, but hey, like I said, opinions are opinions. So thank you for taking the time to ask me a question. But his question is, whose performance are you most excited to see in the new Star Wars movie? Either returning actor or fresh-faced newcomer? Newcomers, I'm really interested to see how John Boyega is. I want to know what his character's going to be like, because it looks like, from what we see in the trailers, he looks like a stormtrooper turned good guy. I'm guessing he could be a Jedi Knight. I'm not entirely sure. It could be Daisy Ridley's character that becomes a Jedi. I don't know. I'm really interested to see how she does, Daisy Ridley. I've never seen her before. Oscar Isaac, he's obviously going to be the Han Solo of the group, so obviously I got to see what he does. But John Boyega, I would say, I'm interested in seeing how he's going to play his character. I saw him in 24 Live Another Day, where he plays an airman who gets framed for doing something he didn't do. I've never seen Attack the Block. I know he's in that, but from seeing the way he carried himself at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, he looks really excited for this movie, and you know what? I'm really interested in seeing how he's going to play the character, Finn. Returning actor, well, Harrison Ford. I feel a little more safer now after hearing him say, "Chewie, we're home." And seeing him smile, I just went, oh my god. He actually looks like he cares. At this point, anyway. Carrie Fisher? I don't know. I mean, of course, I do like her as Princess Leia, but I'm still gonna hold off on my excitement. I just want to see a little bit of her in the trailers to get an idea, but I don't know. I'm neutral on that. I don't really know. We'll see. Probably the one I'm most excited to see is Mark Hamill. I really, really am looking forward to seeing him come back. I'm fine with Mark Hamill coming back as an older Jedi. I could see him doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi type of thing, or like Spock was in the 2009 Star Trek film to Chris Pine, as far as giving the newcomers advice on certain things. So Mark Hamill. I mean, I really like Mark Hamill, not just as Luke Skywalker, but also the Joker. His Joker, aside from Heath Ledger, may he rest in peace, is brilliant. So yeah, I'm looking forward to John Boyega and Mark Hamill. I'm looking forward to the movie in general. I can't wait to see it. Try not to get too excited, though. But thanks again, Hello Greedo, for asking me your question. I'm really flattered that you asked me. Next question comes from Rachel Wagner. What's your favorite animated film, and what film made you want to be a better person? Favorite animated film? I'd say is The Lion King, along with the Lego Movie. I had a lot of fun watching the Lego Movie. And Lion King, it's got some great songs in there. It's got a really good message in there. It's really hard to explain, really, why you like certain movies so much. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but those are my two picks. What movie made you want to be a better person? Rocky isn't one that I could mention, but Dead Poet Society. Oh god, that movie was so inspiring. I watched that for the first time last year, unfortunately right after Robin Williams passed away. May you rest in peace. Oh God, it was so inspiring, and the way he tells his students to seize the day, be your own person, don't do what everybody else wants you to do. And the final scene where they all stand up and go, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." Oh God, that got me so much. I loved that. Robin Williams, thank you so much for all the work that you've done. You are amazing. And I hope that you found peace wherever you may be. The next question comes from Chris Connor. What's your favorite song? I don't know. It's too many to name. I can't really pick a specific one. And the final question comes from probably my biggest fan of recent months, Delon Liu. Ooh, this is such a challenge here. Alright, let's see what it is. Are you not ashamed to hide the fact that you love movies that everyone else hates? I feel the same way too. Yeah, you could say that to some degree. It really depends on what movie it is and what day of the week it is, really. I can say that I really like Jumanji, even though some people might just go, "What? You like that?" I go, "Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's not a great movie, but it's a lot of fun." And Robin Williams put a lot of heart into his character, like he did with his other characters that he played. And just the idea of Jumanji, like playing this game where all this stuff came to life. I don't know, something, it's like it had that sense of adventure that makes you want to go on that adventure, even though would be kind of dangerous. I mean, I wouldn't want to face off against a lion, but it had that sense of adventure that you want to go on. That's why I like it. And I do like Spider-Man 3 more than most people, even though I know it's not a very good movie. I like parts of it. I'll probably explain it in a future video at some point in the future. But I do like it more than most people, even though it is pretty disappointing. And I like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It's not a great movie. It's pretty decent at best, but like with Spider-Man 3, it is a bit disappointing. But yeah, it really depends on what mood I'm in, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I like certain movies that everyone else might not like, but it really all depends. Well, that's all the questions that we have, so thank you guys for asking all your questions. I look forward to doing another Q&A at some point in the future, and maybe even a live hangout if you're up for that. So, yeah, thank you all once again, and see you next time, guys.